What's going on, guys? It's your boy Decoder, and welcome back once again to the Yugituber ruling quiz. This episode, I have a guest that you guys have been requesting in the comment section a lot since I started season 2. The one, the only, Mr. Hardleg Joe. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, Coder. It's nice to be here. Nice to finally interact with you. I've watched from afar for so long.
It's true. This is like our first time collabing, and I'm really excited for this. So we're going to be doing CRYSTRON rulings today because I was told you were the CRYSTRON king. Is that true?
I've certainly played a lot of CRYSTRONs. I think I might be the king by simple virtue of no one else playing them.
Fair enough.
But I'm certainly one of the higher CRYSTRON players.
All right, I believe in it. I believe in it. As per usual for this episode and every other episode of the ruling quiz, you will be asked 8 ruling questions. On top of that, you will also be given 2 lifelines should you feel the need to use them at any point in the quiz. The 2 lifelines you have are Ask the Judge, where you can ask me, the head judge, a ruling question that you would typically ask a judge while you're playing a game at an event where they would be able to answer you without it being considered coaching. The other lifeline you have access to is Ask the Twitch chat. At any point in the quiz, if you feel as though you are not certain about an answer and you would like to ask the Twitch chat what they think the answer to the ruling question is, you are able to poll the Twitch chat and ask them what they think. So that being said, I guess we can just jump into question number 1.
Let's do it.
All right, let's run it with question number 1. So here you control a CRYSTRON Quan and a CRYSTRON Smyger. Your opponent controls a Bean Soldier and a set enemy controller. In this situation, you will be performing a Link Summon, summoning the now banned CRYSTRON Halqifibrax. It isn't a CRYSTRON card, therefore we're going to be adding it to this quiz. Here you're going to use the effect of CRYSTRON Halqifibrax in order to summon a CRYSTRON Citry from your deck. At this point on resolution, your opponent activates their enemy controller, tributing their Bean Soldier in order to take control of your CRYSTRON Citry. On resolution of this chain, can your opponent activate the effect of their Citry?
Well, first of all, pour one out for my boy Halqifibrax. Just taken, unfortunately, completely kills the CRYSTRON deck now that it's gone, but I guess it's for the betterment of the game.
True.
It's one of those things that I always have trouble remembering whether or not it's... I think that means that it kind of just blanket applies to that creature no matter where it happens to move later on. So I believe even though they stole it, it can't activate its effects anymore.
So we are going with final answer. The Citry cannot activate?
Yes, final answer.
Final answer. Well, Hardleg, you are off to a fantastic start. You are correct on question number 1. The Citry here cannot activate its effect exactly for the reason that you stated, that despite the fact that it went from your field to your opponent's field, it is still the same card. Therefore, its effects cannot be activated. Currently 1 for 1. Are you ready?
I'm ready to go. I'm feeling good.
You're ready to get to question number 2. Awesome. Well, hey, you're off to a great start. Let's see if you can keep this momentum going into question number 2. You have a board of a CRYSTRON Smyger, Shape Snatch, Bean Soldier, Cyframe Driver, CRYSTRON Solfefnir, and a CRYSTRON Halqifibrax. While you control a full board of monsters, can you activate the first effect of CRYSTRON Smyger?
So I believe... And if you do is one of those situational ones where, like, you go as far as you can. You don't have to be able to resolve everything. It's you at least destroy it, and then if you do, you can do the rest of it. Unless I'm confusing that with then. All those conjunctions get a little tricky sometimes.
Fair enough, fair enough. I mean, do keep in mind, if you'd like a reminder on conjunctions, you do have a lifeline where you can get me to remind you about some of them.
I'm getting distracted trying to think of, like, how did I summon all this stuff onto the field? How did I get Shape Snatch and...
You just activated Soul Charge, don't worry about it.
This is the strangest CRYSTRON deck I've ever played. I've played some strange CRYSTRONs, let me tell you. Yeah, you know what? I'll go with that. I'll say Smyger can attempt to activate its effect.
All right, it can attempt to activate its effect. Do you have a sort of like restriction on what it can target, or can it target everything on your board?
Yeah, anything except for, I guess, the Halqifibrax. Right? No, because that... Yeah, I guess it would have to... Well, now you're making me second guess everything. Well, I'm just trying to think about, like, there's a lot of stuff where, you know, you can discard a card to target a card in the graveyard, bring it... That has to do with cost, though. And this isn't cost, is it?
Smyger does not destroy for cost. All it does is it selects a target
It's
as the
all
activation
part of the
requirement,
effect.
and everything is effect, yes.
Yeah, you know what? I guess I will. I changed my mind. I've gone back on it. If it's all part of the effect, then it has to be able to summon. It has to be able to do the whole effect. So I'll say no. You can't activate Smyger.
That your final answer?
That is my final answer.
Mr. Hardleg Joe, you are incorrect. Here you are allowed to activate the effect of the CRYSTRON Smyger, and the reason why I asked the question was specifically because the only cards you can target on your field while you have CRYSTRON Smyger are a monster in your main monster zone here, because if you were to destroy the Hulk, you would not be able to summon a monster from your deck. So the thing is, with the and if you do conjunction, you need to be able to perform both parts of the effect in order to activate it. However, there is never an outcome. If you target one of your main monster zone monsters, there's never an outcome in which you would be at a point where you need to summon a monster where you wouldn't have one of your monster zones cleared, and the game is able to recognize that. So for that reason, because it first destroys a monster and then special summons from the deck, it is something that you can legally do. So incorrect for question number 2, but I feel like you had like a good portion of the answer there. Still 6 more questions to go. Do you feel confident you can clutch it out with the following questions?
I got it. I just need to go with my gut. I need to trust my gut and just ignore brain.
So anyways, are you ready to get into question number 3?
Okay, yeah, let's go. And I'm gonna take off my weighted sunglasses. I think those have been slowing me down.
Let's
now
go.
I can see clearly.
All right, let's run it with question number 3. You control a Penguin Brave.
Penguins.
Keep in mind, the Penguin Brave's effect is not going to matter. The only thing that matters is that it is a Synchro level 6. Your opponent controls a Cyframe Driver, Bean Soldier, and a Shape Snatch in their graveyard. You have a CRYSTRON Rion in your grave, and a set King's Synchro. The important part about King's Synchro's effect is that it says when your opponent's monster declares an attack on a Synchro monster you control, negate the attack, then you can apply the rest of this card's effect. Banish that Synchro monster you control and a tuner from your graveyard, and if you do, special summon from your extra deck one Synchro monster whose level equals the total levels of the banished monsters that they had. This special summon is treated as a Synchro summon. So it negates an attack, and then special summons a Synchro, treats it as a Synchro summon. Here what's going to happen is your opponent's going to declare an attack with their Cyframe Driver on your Penguin Brave, to which you are going to chain King's Synchro, banishing your level 6 Penguin Brave and your level 3 CRYSTRON Rion from the graveyard. You're going to be special summoning from your extra deck a CRYSTRON Quarian Gandrax. At this point, can you activate the effect of your CRYSTRON Quarian Gandrax? And if you do, how many cards can you target with its effect?
Okay, well, first of all, I just want to say, good job pronouncing Quarian Gondrax. I've seen a lot of people mess that up. So, King Synchro does treat it as a Synchro summon.
It does treat the special summon as a Synchro summon, yes.
Banish the Synchro you control and one tuner, and if you do... Okay, you special summon from the extra deck, and it's treated as a Synchro summon, but you didn't actually Synchro summon it with, like, Synchro materials. That's what I'm thinking this is doing.
Okay, okay.
Your question was, can you activate the effect, and how many can you banish?
Can you activate the effect, and if you can activate the effect, how many monsters can you target to banish?
So that would be this is the difficult part. It was Synchro Summon, so you can activate the effect, but you didn't have any materials, so I'd say you can't actually banish anything. But if you can't resolve that part, can you even activate the effect at all?
That is a good question.
I'm gonna say no. You can't activate that effect, even though it was Synchro Summon, because there would be no targets for it.
So final answer, you cannot activate the effect of the Quarian Gandrax?
Correct.
All right. Well, Mr. Hardleg Joe, you are correct here. You cannot activate the effect of the Quarian Gandrax. Now, before the comment section goes absolutely crazy, yes, I know the materials for the CRYSTRON Quarian Gandrax required are 2 or more tuners. However, as Hardleg Joe has stated, King Synchro does not use the monsters as Synchro material. It simply special summons a Synchro from the extra deck by banishing monsters whose levels equal that monster.
I actually know that ruling because of super heavy samurais. They've got that battle ball that works the same way.
That's true,
Just
actually.
like...
It special summons a guy from the extra deck using the opponent's monster, right? Something like that?
Yeah, but it does the same thing where it special summons it, ignoring its materials.
Currently 2 for 3, doing a great job. Are you ready to get into question number 4?
Let's go. I'm ready.
All right, let's run it with question number 4. All right, so for question number 4 here, you control a CRYSTRON Smyger, a CRYSTRON Quan, a Bean Soldier, and another CRYSTRON Quan. You also have Crystolic Potential, the CRYSTRON field spell in your hand. So in this situation, you're going to be syncing away your Bean Soldier and your CRYSTRON Quan in order to summon a CRYSTRON Amatrix. After that, you're going to be activating the Crystolic Potential from your hand. Afterwards, you're going to be synchro summoning for a CRYSTRON Quandax, and then you're going to be synchroing your CRYSTRON Quandax and your CRYSTRON Amatrix into a CRYSTRON Phoenix. When you proceed to the end phase of this turn, how many cards will you draw with the effect of Crystolic Potential?
Gotcha. So it's 2 or 3. And the real question is whether or not Crystolic Potential recognizes the synchro summons that happened before it showed up to the party. And I think because it doesn't specify that, like, while this is on the field, if it just says the number you synchro summoned this turn, I think it activates, what's that one quick play that lets you draw when you tribute dragons?
You're talking about Super Rejuvenation.
Yeah, I think it activates kind of like that. Just at the end of the turn, however many you did, it goes. So I'll say 3 on this one.
You are saying we are drawing 3. Final answer?
Final answer.
With utmost confidence, Mr. Hardleg, you are correct. You are drawing 3 cards off the effect of the Crystolic Potential here for the reason that you just outlined. It doesn't only check synchros that happened after Crystolic Potential was activated, it checks all the synchro summons that you performed during the course of this turn. Wow, good job so far. 3 for 4. We're now getting into the second half of the quiz where questions tend to get a little bit more difficult. Are you feeling confident you can clutch it out?
Yeah, we're going to hard mode, but I'm hard leg, so I can get it.
All right, I believe. Let's run it with question number 5. In this current game state, your opponent has a couple of spell traps in the grave, and they have a Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. They also have a face-down Call of the Haunted. You control Amatrix and CRYSTRON Quandax. At this point, you are going to be performing a synchro summon with your Quandax and your Amatrix in order to synchro summon the CRYSTRON Phoenix. You're going to activate the effect of the Phoenix as Chain Link 1. Your opponent will then chain Call of the Haunted to reborn the Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer from their graveyard. In this instance, how will the effect of the CRYSTRON Phoenix resolve?
Well, I mean, obviously that Call of the Haunted is getting banished regardless. So let me think about this. The Phoenix activates, that comes onto the field, so then chains resolve backwards, so it's on the field when Phoenix tries to resolve, and that's just a continuous effect. Your opponent cannot banish, so that should be in effect. So I believe all that happens then is you just banish the Call of the Haunted and not any of the other cards in the graveyard.
So that would that ultimately end up destroying the Kaiku as well?
Go over Call of the Haunted again real quick.
Sir.
Is this one of those?
It says when this card leaves the field, destroy that monster.
You know, Kaiku is on the field when the effect resolves, so it doesn't banish the cards in the graveyard. And then once Call of the Haunted is banished, Kaiku's off the field, but Rosenix or Phoenix is already resolved, so the cards in the graveyard just remain there.
All right, so we get final answer here. Only the Call of the Haunted will be banished, the Kaiku will be destroyed, but Torrential and Reborn will remain in the graveyard?
Correct.
That is your final answer, and Mr. Hardleg Joe, with absolute confidence, you are right once again. Only the Call of the Haunted will be banished, and the Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer will be destroyed. The spells and traps that are in the graveyard will not be banished, because at the time where CRYSTRON Phoenix will apply its effect to banish, the Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer is preventing cards in the graveyard from being banished, but not the cards on the field. You are once again correct, and you're doing a fantastic job. 4 for 5. Got 3 more questions to go. So you ready to get to question number 6?
Let's do it.
All right, let's run it with question number 6. You control a CRYSTRON Quan, and you have a Shape Snatch in your hand. Your opponent has a set Dimensional Barrier. In this instance, it is your opponent's main phase 1. You will be activating the effect of your CRYSTRON Quan in order to summon a monster from your hand and then synchro summon using that monster and the CRYSTRON Quan. Your opponent is going to chain Dimensional Barrier, declaring synchro. In this situation, how does the effect of the CRYSTRON Quan resolve?
Quan is an and if you do.
Which means,
again, you go as far as you can. So it actually does summon the Shape Snatch, but then you cannot go into the extra deck. Shape Snatch just comes out on the field with its effect negated. It's unable to steal cards and stuff like that. And I actually know this one because there's back in Master Rule 4, this was kind of a trick that you would do with, what's it called? Halka Fibrax. Because you only had the one extra monster zone, you would activate Citry, which summons from the graveyard, and then you would tag out the Hulk and summon something in the extra monster zone. And because you couldn't complete the synchro, you would just have Citry plus a free card plus something like Formula Synchron that could then synchro into something else during your opponent's turn.
Okay, so yeah, final answer.
Short term, yeah, final answer. You summon the Shape Snatch.
You summon the Shape Snatch, but you do not synchro. All right, well, Hardleg, I am very, very sorry to say that you are actually incorrect here, and I will explain why. Because the example that you gave with Citry is absolutely spot on correct. However, the small, minute difference between the CRYSTRON Quan and the CRYSTRON Citry is that the CRYSTRON Citry targets. The CRYSTRON Quan summons from hand, but it does not target. Therefore, the way the effect of CRYSTRON Quan would resolve is that because it doesn't target, you can summon anything out from your hand. So the way the game basically resolves this effect is that it has you select the synchro monster you want to summon first, and then afterwards you summon the monster from your hand that you are attempting to use as material for that synchro summon. However, because you're not able to use to synchro summon, you aren't able to select a monster in order to synchro summon, so the Shape Snatch is not a monster that you would be able to summon. So you are currently 4 for 6. Do you believe you can clutch it out for the last two and win the chat their channel points?
I believe. Let's go.
He believes.
Let's do it.
Let's run it with question number 7. You control a CRYSTRON Rion, and you have a banished Bean Soldier, Shape Snatch, and Psyframe Driver. They're vanillas, but their levels are 4, 5, and 6. Your opponent controls a face-up Stygian Dirge. The only card you have in your extra deck is a level 7 Dark Strike Fighter. In this situation, can you activate the effect of your CRYSTRON Rion? If so, what monster or monsters are legal targets for the effect of the CRYSTRON Rion? And how would the effect of the CRYSTRON Rion resolve?
Okay, so unlike with what we just discussed with Quan, I don't select the synchro monster first. Although I know you can't activate this effect if you don't have a valid target. Because you can't just like special summon something out if you don't have a way to synchro summon. So I think the weird thing might be is a case of, you know, the game mechanics as far as, you know, if you want to try to summon a level 7, since Rion's currently at 2, you would have to summon the level 5. But as soon as you summon the level 5, it becomes a level 4, and at that point you don't have a level 6 monster. And I don't think the game, like, understands that Stygian Dirge is there when you activate it. That's, I guess, the core of the question, right?
That is where the question lies. Yes, you have located it with absolute ease.
It's like, does the game understand the fact that, you know, by the time I summon the monster, its attack will be lowered? I guess it would be the driver that would work if the game understood the driver. But can you summon the driver if you don't have a level 8, essentially? So I think this is the thing I described last time, right? I would be able to activate it, targeting the Shape Snatch, but it would come back, it would be the wrong level to summon the only monster in my extra deck, and therefore it would just remain on the field with Rion not doing anything.
Is that your final answer?
I'm tempted to ask your chat, but I don't think your chat knows CRYSTRON.
Very fair. Very, very fair.
They listen to you, so I assume they must be smart, but I don't think they know that. So I'll go with my gut here. I'll say that is what happens.
Final answer, Hardleg. You are correct. The only legal target for the effect of the CRYSTRON Rion is the Shape Snatch, because at the moment where you're activating this effect, your Rion is a level 2, and you're attempting to summon a level 7 from your extra deck. You are currently at 5 for 7, and you have one final question to go with 2 lifelines. Are you ready to get into the final question of the quiz?
Bring it on. I was born ready.
Let's run it with question number 8. You have in your hand a CRYSTRON Smyger and a CRYSTRON Solfefnir. Your opponent has a face-down Called by the Grave, a face-down Solemn Judgment, and a face-up Stardust Dragon. In this instance, you will declare the effect of the CRYSTRON Solfefnir in your hand, and you are going to be discarding the CRYSTRON Smyger for cost. In this instance, which of their 3 cards can your opponent legally chain to the effect of the CRYSTRON Solfefnir?
Called by the Grave can be chained. It wouldn't stop Solfefnir, but you could do it. So I'll go ahead and use my Ask the Judge.
Okay, what would you like to ask?
An important question.
Yes.
Does the conjunction then mean that both part of the effects happen simultaneously, or is it one and then the other?
All right, so we are using the Ask the Judge lifeline, and I will give you the answer here that the then conjunction is considered sequential. When you use the effect of CRYSTRON Solfefnir, it will summon, then destroy a card you control. So it is a sequential effect. These 2 actions are not considered to happen simultaneously.
So when you activate it, it's trying to special summon. So I assume the Stardust can't activate, because what you're trying to do is special summon, and the destroy happens basically partway through resolving the effect.
Yeah, well, they both happen as part of the same chain link, but yes, they happen one at a time.
And then Solemn Judgment just says if a card would be summoned, right?
It says when a monster would be summoned or a spell trap card is activated.
I believe that Solemn Judgment only stops, I think the technical term is a built-in summon, or an inherent summon.
A summon which does not start a chain is the word you're looking for.
Gotcha. I believe in the original PSCT article, they say built-in, and like that term just never...
Do they say that? I've actually never seen that. I'll probably look into it.
But yeah, either way, it's a special summon that does not start a chain. And Solfefnir most definitely does, because it has that sweet, sweet colon. So I'm going to say, okay, Solemn Judgment cannot. We know for certain that Called by the Grave can. The real question is whether or not Stardust Dragon can activate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so, but I have that one lifeline. And
you do
I've
have
been
the one
ignoring
lifeline.
Twitch chat. So, you know what, Twitch chat, we'll add that in. We'll go ahead and poll them, see what they think.
You want to use your Ask the Twitch chat lifeline to ask the chat.
Let's do it.
What would you like to ask them? Do you want to just ask them, can Stardust Dragon be chained to Solfefnir, yes or no?
Yeah.
Twitch chat, 1 for yes, 2 for no. Can you chain the Stardust Dragon to the effect of the CRYSTRON Solfefnir here? I will tell you right now, my Twitch chat appears to be somewhat torn. We're at 64% yes, 65% yes, and 35% saying no, you cannot.
I'm a big believer in democracy. I'm a big believer in the power of crowds. If you give a big group of people a question, most of the time you average out their answers. They tend to be right. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to assume the Twitch chat is correct.
So can I get your final answer here, Mr. Hardleg?
Okay, so final answer. Yes, you can activate Stardust Dragon. You can activate Called by the Grave.
Okay.
You cannot activate Solemn Judgment.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Well, Hardleg, I am very sorry to say, but the Twitch chat have very much failed you in this instance. You were correct about the Call by the Grave and correct about the Judgment. However, the Stardust Dragon cannot be chained here. The only card that can be chained is the Called by the Grave, and here's the reason why. If you controlled a singular card on your field at the moment where you activated Solfefnir, you would be allowed to chain the Stardust Dragon because the Stardust Dragon sees, okay, there is a card on the field, and this effect says to destroy a card on the field. However, if you do not control a card on the field, the CRYSTRON Solfefnir is a card that states that it will destroy a card on the field, but at the moment where you activate Solfefnir, you do not have a card on the field to destroy, so the Stardust Dragon doesn't see that there is a card on the field to destroy, so it is not able to chain its effect to the CRYSTRON Solfefnir here. So here, unfortunately, you have finished with a score of 5 out of 8. Don't get me wrong, very, very solid score.
Hey,
I think you did a fantastic
I'm still happy
job.
with that.
I'm very pleasantly surprised. You very much showed up, and you've pleasantly surprised me with your knowledge of rulings. I hope you learned something new, and I hope that you found this ruling quiz to be fun and entertaining to take part in. Same thing for the Twitch chat and the commenters at home. I hope you guys learned something new as well, and that you guys enjoyed the ruling quiz. That being said, leave in the comment section below who you guys want to see on this show. I am looking for other Yugitubers to come onto the show with their popular deck, the deck that they play the most, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, guys. Peace!
Peace!